we're all aware of the cost of power these days and how, we're doing everything possible to try and cut our energy bills. So it's sort of, it's more or less like it's almost like a slap across the face or a rubbing salt into the wound or an insult to think that we're trying to do everything we can, and there's a lot of families across the state that are struggling to just pay the bills and make ends meet. To hear that the CEO of Essential Energy has now had a pay rise, a massive pay rise of not just a couple of bucks, of $117,723, taking his pay packet to $882,076 a year. And this comes after also them sacking a whole stack of people. And on the line I have the Shadow Minister for Energy, Adam Searle, MLC. Good morning, Adam.
Good morning, Dave. How are you?
Not too bad. Thanks for your company. Thanks for your time this morning.
My pleasure.
Do you mind if I just call you Adam again?
Of course.
Good on you. Great. I think it was only early this week or late last week we spoke about something else.
Yeah, electricity prices again.
Yeah, again, yeah. But this is, when I saw this in today's paper and I heard it on our news, I thought, you've got to be joking. I mean, this is just a joke. We're being told that, energy bills have got to go up for costings and all this. There's all different BS reasons why the power is costing more each year. And then we read something like this. That's ludicrous. That's more than the Prime Minister gets.
Well, it is. And then let's just unpack this. If you look at Essential Energy, they've been sacking their workers and charging their customers some of the highest electricity prices and the highest electricity price rises in the country. And now, to add insult to injury, they're giving a 15% pay rise to the chief executive. And as you said, that's over $117,000 just in the pay rise. Now, if you're a public servant in New South Wales, a teacher, nurse, ambulance driver, police officer, every other public servant, your pay rises are capped at 2.5%. That's the state government's wage policy. But at 15% for the chief executive of this energy company. And, of course, people in the private sector workforce are struggling to even get 2% pay rises. And last week, the state government, the Liberals and Nationals, are saying, let's spend $2.5 billion knocking down and rebuilding stadiums that not enough people attend.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. And now we can see this decision of this extraordinary pay rise. And this comes on top of Essential Energy being caught out. Like the other energy companies, they went to court to oppose the energy regulator cutting household and small business electricity bills.
Yeah.
They said they needed the extra $1.7 billion in revenue to preserve their workforce and to make sure they could provide the service. Now, I got hold of an internal Essential Energy document that said that was unnecessary. They didn't need to do that, but they did it to trouser the money. And now we can see where the money is going, to pay for their chief executive. I mean, the government is the shareholder of this company. They should step in and make sure the board and management run the company in line with community expectations. And that is, yes, you pay people a reasonable wage for doing a job and you give people decent pay rises, but not 15% when everybody else is stuck on 2.5%. It's just ridiculous. It's outrageous.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me. And I mean, is it a reward for doing something? Is it? Or what? I mean, what's the reason?
Well, look, the company has increased its profit. That means, more shareholder dividends going back to the state government. But of course, how come its profits have increased?
Yeah.
Because they're soaking their customers. They're putting the squeeze on mum and dad householders and small businesses right across rural and regional New South Wales. And now some of that's going to pay the chief executive. And on top of that, they've been sacking their workforce. The workforce they said they wanted to preserve.
Yeah, I believe up to 600 positions went.
That's right. And, like Essential Energy, you go back 6 years before the Liberals and Nationals came to office, the staff at Essential Energy were about 4,000 strong. Right. Now it's less than 2,800. And it's going to get less, another 600 to go. So it's just ridiculous. And, they're paying their chief executive, presumably in line with the rest of the industry. But you just got to exercise some restraint when householders who are your customers are doing it tough, when they're paying through the nose, when other workers can't get a decent pay rise, when police and ambulance drivers and nurses and every other public service that delivers services to the community can't get more than 2.5. What does it say to everyone when the chief executive of an energy company gets 15%? It says he's worth more than you. I mean, is the head of an energy company worth more than a nurse tending to people in emergency situations? I don't think anybody in the community would say so.
Now, the other thing, too, I believe, is that according to Essential's own report, it revealed that the service reliability, which covers apparently 800,000 homes and businesses right across the state, has been unfavourable, with new data revealing over the last, 2016-17 year, customers were without power for at least an average of 236 minutes. Oh, I don't know what that was, but... so it's like, it's not...
Yep. I'm still here.
Oh, that's good. Apparently Essential are blaming the interruptions on higher than average weather activities, but I mean, if they're cutting staff and doing all that, surely that's got to send them... That's telling you that something's not working right, isn't it? I mean, they're obviously cutting back on maintenance and that as well.
Well, look, if you cut your workforce, it will eventually impact on your ability to service. And you're right, people serviced by Essential have double the number of blackouts of people in the city, and their reliability standards are just not as good. And, maybe those should be factored into the performance pay of the chief executive.
Is the government, saying anything about this, or are they just keeping quiet?
No, they're going strong. They're saying, look, it's managed by an independent board. It's self-governing, state-owned enterprise, which it is, but the shareholders are the government. And if the board is going rogue and not governing in accordance with community standards, the ministers who are the shareholders should step in and overrule them.
Yeah, I just can't fathom it.
It's just, it's one rule for chief executives and it's a different rule for regular workers and customers. It's just another example, like the stadiums, where the state government, Gladys Berejiklian and John Barilaro, are just showing their true colours and their wrong priorities to the community.
It's almost like they're just doing some strange things, like the stadium, tearing down 2 stadiums to build 2 new ones that are going to hold less people. Now we hear about this when we're all being told that they're trying to do what they can to keep power costs down, and yet we then hear about this CEO getting a $117,723 pay increase. I mean, it's just disgusting when you hear something like that. It's absolutely disgusting. It really is. I just can't fathom it. But Adam Searle, who is a shadow minister for energy, we do thank him for his time this morning.